Hey everyone, Dr. Nicole and Dr. Rachel here from Sprout Family Chiropractic. We wanted to come on here and chat with you about baby brain development. We're going to be starting a new series called Whiteboard Wednesdays, where we really dive deeper into a natural neurological approach to healing, raising healthy kids, having the best pregnancy that you can for whatever birth plan that you want, and really just how to help your family stay happy, healthy, and thriving. And whether you know everything about everything that we talk about on our Whiteboard Wednesdays or you learn something completely new, we love educating and we just hope that you really enjoy what we put out there. And since this is our first Whiteboard Wednesday, we wanted to discuss baby brain development, breaking it down really to the basic neurodevelopmental areas, especially in the context of a baby's brain stuck in a neurodevelopmental state.
So we're going to use a house or construction analogy to describe how the brain and nervous system and how our kids and we as adults are built. So just like a house, you have your fancy finishings like that crown molding, the farmhouse sink, the accent shiplap wall, and that's where these things on the right come into play. That's our social, speech, cognition, emotional, and behavioral stuff. And when we see challenges with any of these things, they usually show up as things like anxiety, ADHD, sensory challenges, behavioral challenges. And then over here you have your foundation of the house, which are things like move, eat, sleep, and poop. And the finishings here are really great and absolutely necessary to function and interact and form connections and relationships in our society, but they aren't as great if you don't build a solid foundation first. So when you have a kiddo that's struggling with these things, going backwards to go forward is actually the key. And chiropractic allows the brain to go backwards to the basics so that we can then go forward into the healing. And here's what I mean by that. Everybody's nervous system runs everything. And for a brand new baby, that's really the story. Their nervous system has 4 main jobs to do, and that's to move, eat, sleep, and poop. So if we go back to this construction analogy, movement, that is our neuromotor system, and that's what we as pediatric chiropractors really work with. That skeletal neuromotor system is actually controlled by the central autonomic nervous system. And the system, that's the system we said controls everything else in our body. So if we go on with the analogy, then the movement is the foundation. It's the floors and frame of the brain, and the rest of the house needs to be built on that. And the next things to go in would be the plumbing, which is the eat and the poop. Those two are obviously tied together, right? You take in the good nutrients and release the not so good ones into the diaper. We celebrate poop a lot more than anyone because a lot of our pediatric patients are just constipated and really challenged with that one. And then we have sleep on here as well, because of course rest equals recovery, regeneration, and growth, and that's really what we want our kiddos to be focusing on.
So these four main functions, that first 6 to 12 months of life, that's all a baby is supposed to learn how to do. Move, eat, sleep, and poop. They are awesome at learning how to do that as long as their body and their nervous system doesn't get jammed up with toxins or get subluxated. It's these foundational basics that need to happen, so these projects need to be completed. And a baby's brain and nervous system are incredible, they're intricate, they're advanced, but at the same time, they're basic. It's like, think of it as a to-do list. The key with these things is a baby needs to go through and complete all 4 of these before, first off, and then that initiates or activates the brain to start doing these. So what we find in 3-year-old spectrum kiddos, 8-year-old kiddos with behavioral challenges, 14-year-old kids struggling with ADHD, emotional challenges, anxiety, professionals and parents are awesomely trying to improve their socialization, their speech. They're going to counseling. Some families may have even tried medications for these things. They're trying to work on these advanced functions, but when we dive deeper into that child's case history, into the 14-year-old, the 18-year-old, and if we're being honest, a 38-year-old who's struggling with digestion, immune function, neuromuscular movement. They're constipated all the time. They're sick all the time. They're struggling with sleep. They're exhausted. They have all sorts of physical, what we call neurospinal subluxations or restrictions that mess with this all the time. And most patients with ADHD, anxiety, autism, emotional dysregulation, they have a whole host of challenges, but they have these challenges that they must face and heal from first before anything else.
So the take-home message, if you've stuck with us this long to the end, right, is that you absolutely should expect for your teenage, young adult, grade school kid, infant, any age, that these things can heal, and that means that these things can improve. So socialization can improve, speech can improve, cognition can improve, focus can improve, emotional regulation can improve, anxiety can calm down, and all of these things can happen naturally for your kid, but you first need to fix these things if they're there. So if these challenges are inside of your child's nervous system, their neurophysiological system, you have to go get them with a neurologically focused and trained chiropractor to get them checked and adjusted. Because here's what we do. We know exactly what parts of the nervous system control, regulate, and connect to these functions that then set up the initiation and activation of these functions. And so we build a customized care plan for the brain and nervous system that needs to oftentimes go backwards over the first 90 to 120 days so we can get these basic functions back online, and then we can go forward and see so many improvements with the social, speech, cognition, emotional, and behavioral regulation. And both of these jobs with the construction analogy need to be completed, and a lot of healthcare is working on the finishings before the foundation is actually completed and functioning the way that it needs to be. So we hope you found this video helpful. If you know any kids or have a loved one that is struggling with any of these, and maybe you know that their digestion, immune health, their physical health, their sleep is just not quite what it should be, it's not quite as strong, then this video will probably connect a lot of dots and get a lot of answers for a lot of families. So please tag them, share this. If you have any comments or questions, please just drop them in the comments section below. And again, we hope to be releasing more of these Whiteboard Wednesdays, so follow us and like this video if you want more content like this, and we'll see you guys in the next one.